Welcome back to the Proto 49 workshop. Today we've got a induction motor here, a single phase induction motor that has really bad bearings. It's an old washing machine motor and the bearings are very crusty inside. It's obviously either been out in the weather before it was reclaimed, or the washing machine might have lost its load all over the motor. But very rusty, crusty bearings, fairly rusty inside. Now I've been inside this motor before, and so this is a little bit coming apart a little bit easier than the original time that I undid it, and I've cleaned up that shaft dramatically. It was rusty and crusty. It took me a while, a bit of soaking to get that original pulley and fan assembly off, but pulling apart these motors is pretty straightforward. I think there was some nylock missing off that one. I think before I take off the last one, I put some marks on the chassis so that I know the orientation. It's always a good thing to be able to put it back together in the same way. When it comes apart, it's actually in fairly good condition. There's surface rust there. I'm just showing there that this particular bearing is still original. It's got a bit of grindiness to it. There you can see that there's a nylon retainer that actually seats the bearing into the pressed metal fitting. These new bearings are 2 rubber seal type bearings, 2RS, so they're 6001 2RS, as opposed to the bearings that were in there were a 2RS as well. They're a good quality Japanese bearing. So I was quite surprised because the motor construction looks a bit cheaper, but very happy with that, because it's probably a far better quality motor than I was actually anticipating from looking at the sort of sheet metal pressed stamped construction. So here I am changing the ends, sort of turning around the arms on the bearing puller. This is a 3-inch bearing puller, 100mm, just to give me the length to get past the full length of that shaft. And there's no elegant or dainty way. I'm just describing there, or showing there, how I'm being careful not to pull off the circlip that's actually holding the bearing distance from the end of the shaft, or stopping the bearing distance from the end of the shaft. So I'm leaving that circlip in. I could have pushed it out and then just, a bit more carelessly pulled that bearing off, but I left the circlip, and you can possibly just see it there. Yeah. So there's 2 circlips, and you can see the shaft there prior to putting. You can see it, the inboard of the bearings is very rusty, and that's really the condition of what the whole shaft was. That last little bit, just tapping the bearing down, making sure to be tapping with the angle iron, really bearing on the inside of the race, not the outside. We don't want to be damaging the race by pushing it on the outside. So the inner circle is what we're pushing here. And again, doing the same thing, being very careful and seating that bearing home. So we're getting very close to reassembly here with our 2 nice bearings. Very happy with the way that runs. Tidy the bench up and get ready for reassembly. So again, very happy with the way that runs. Dropping that in, sits in nicely in those nylon sort of retaining rings. I was just really careful about those because they could be a bit crunchy with time, but so I didn't remove them from where they were pressed into the metal housing. But it all goes straight back together. There's only 4 bolts that go through. Tightening those up. Okay, there she is running nice and smoothly. The noise there is actually the bench, to hold the bench up. That's the noise of the motor. There's a slight chattering, and I reckon that's to do with the little plastic nylon mounts that are probably just a bit deteriorated over time. But I'm very happy with that. Certainly running much more smoothly than it was previously. I haven't put the big fan pulley on it because that's just an extra layer of danger in running this, but it is mounted in the vise there. And running nicely. Very happy with that result. So, new bearings on the washing machine motor sitting on the mini workbench. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to comment, like and subscribe for more videos from the Proto 49 workshop.